This is Brandon Jones with Pact Publishing. In this video, we're going to take an overview look at test-driven Android development. First of all, a little bit about me. I'm an adjunct assistant professor at the University of Cincinnati, and I've been there since the 2000-2001 school year. I've taught nearly all of the courses in the software development track in the School of Information Technology in that time. I proposed and created the first Android development course at UC back in 2011, and I still teach that course today. As a matter of fact, we took that course and several courses that were similar to it and reapplied them at Northwestern University's School of Continuing Studies back in 2013. In my free time, I created plantplaces.com mobile using test-driven development. And plantplaces.com mobile allows you to GPS plants and also search for plants by color. So I used all of that knowledge while putting together this video course. Let's take a look at an overview of the course. First of all, we have fundamentals of test-driven design. That's the first section where we talk about simply what is good test-driven design and why do we do test-driven design. Next, we talk about designing for test, which is where we discuss, okay, why do we use a DTO, a data transfer object? Why do we have different layers of classes? Why do we want to minimize if tests? What are things that are both good design and also good design for test? As these two things go hand in hand. Next, we take a look at an introduction to unit testing. So we look at the fundamentals of unit testing, what some of the syntax is, and what is an assert. After looking at the introduction to unit testing, we move on to look at behavior-driven design. Behavior-driven design is a ubiquitous language that allows us to talk from project manager to QA to developer to business analyst and all understand what the software is supposed to do. From that understanding, we come up with an analysis document. From that analysis document, we come up with examples. Those examples are worded in given when then syntax because we're going to take those examples and we're going to create behavior-driven design tests out of them using that same given when then syntax. So from concept to analysis to example to test, it's all one story. After that, we consider some reasons why we tend to avoid unit testing. Is it because we have dependencies that we're worried about? Is it because we don't have good metrics on code coverage? Or is it simply that we forget to run these unit tests? In the add-on section, we take a look at some plugins or some things that are just slightly outside of fundamental JUnit that will take care of these roadblocks, get them out of the way so that we can unit test. We'll look at mocking objects, we'll look at how to measure code coverage, and we'll look at a way to automatically run our unit tests so we don't forget about them for several months and then they get old and out of date. Finally, we'll look at testing beyond the unit test. We'll consider things like UI tests and instrumentation tests. We'll also talk about ways to handle the different platforms that are available in Android and how we can test for those different platforms. So that's a roadmap of this course. Our goal is to maximize your App Store reviews by putting quality first. We can't neglect quality. If we neglect quality, we'll quickly see it in our App Store ratings and reviews. Next, we want to consider how we can speak a common language so that what the project manager understands, what the quality analyst understands, what the business analyst understands, and what the developer understands is all the same thing. And we can take those and we can decompose them into tests using that behavior-driven design syntax I just talked about a few moments ago. So we will take a look at good object-oriented design and test-driven design and see how they feed off of each other in a symbiotic way, how one leads to a good object-oriented design leads to good test-driven design and vice versa. And finally, we will look not only at unit testing, but unit testing that is specific to the Android framework, and some of the Android-specific tools, like the Espresso tool, will help us to write UI tests. The prerequisites for this course are quite simple. Any computer running Android Studio. Could be a Mac, could be a Unix Linux workstation, or a Windows workstation, anything that will run Android Studio. We need just a basic knowledge of Android programming, but nothing too deep. Our real focus is just on how to unit test an Android program. And then finally, we need a basic knowledge of Java programming, maybe some object-oriented concepts. We don't need a deep understanding of Java. It certainly would help. But remember, part of this video course is also considering best practices. So if you are at a beginning or intermediate level, undoubtedly you will get something out of this course, not just for testing, but also for design. It's a fun course. It's a great course. And I look forward to having you join me as we walk through all these subjects. Thank you.